trying to understand the Mozambique conflict that's been playing itself out in the northern Cabo Delgado province since 2017, over 3 years now. That is the topic of today's special discussion here on ENCA. I've got with me in the studio John Stupart from the African Defence Review. I've got Liesl Louw-Vaudran from the Institute of Security Studies. I've got Adriano Nuvunga from Maputo's Mozambique Center of Democracy and Development. And I've got Ambassador Ndumiso Ntshinga from the Department of International Relations and Cooperation of South Africa. He's a DDG, Deputy Director General for Africa. Liesl, can I start with you? Each time I open the news and check what's happening in Mozambique on this conflict, I get a sense the government believes there that it will be able to solve this through military means. Like when Mocímboa da Praia, the strategic port, a few weeks ago was captured by the insurgents, they then launched another fight back to say they want to take it back. Is the military going to be a solution here for this conflict if we understand that part of its roots are lack of socio-economic development, and there could be others as well?
Yes, that's a very good question, Dan. We have unfortunately seen in the rest of the continent and even in the world that military responses alone don't work against terrorism. I mean, the situation in the Sahel region in West Africa is escalating, despite the fact that there are about 15,000 UN troops, there are 5,000 French troops, but it has now almost, it's escalating and spreading. It's very, very complicated. And interestingly enough, in those regions, 10 years down the line, we are now saying, yes, but we need development aid, we need to empower communities, we need talks. I mean, that's another issue that is on the table. Even in Mozambique, there have been calls for discussions with these insurgents. What do they really want, So a military solution alone, on the long run, can't solve this problem. Although the defense experts and those on the ground would say, right, we do need to save lives, protect people. They've been brutally, murdered by these groups. There has to be a stronger response, from SADC or whoever else, but we do also need to have the development projects. And I must say, Professor Nuvunga, I know, was on another call with us where we discussed these issues. There are projects on the go. There is a development agency that was launched this year. It might be a little too late. But there's a lot that needs to be done besides just a military response.
John, when you hear that, what do you think?
I agree with Liesl, absolutely. I think you can't simply create a military response to solving terrorism. Terrorism or insurgency, in this case, it's an idea, it's a thought, or even you could venture to say an ideology. I'm not quite sure it's evolved to that stage yet.
No, because nobody just wakes up one morning and decides to pick up arms.
No,
it
takes a lot of time and discontent and sort of dissatisfaction with your state or with something, in this case with the Mozambican government, to get to that point. And you cannot simply destroy that by killing people. That's not going to solve the problem. The real question is whether or not this is what Mozambique's government actually wants. What we haven't discussed here is Total's MOU that they signed with the Mozambican government, where essentially they've been given free rein to bring in any number of PMCs into the state there. And in doing so, that kind of shows that they're looking to secure the hubs of commerce in as far as it relates to the gas resources there, rather than actually trying to defeat the insurgents.
It's an important point because Total is one of the several foreign companies that have won lucrative contracts since the discovery of the natural gas deposits in 2010 and 2011. So is a sense then that the government wants to, I'm using this word advisedly, ring-fence the conflict, contain it in that kind of region, while allowing the exploration and extraction of the national gas and getting the benefits from those?
I think that's absolutely what we're seeing right here, and we can couch it in any number of diplomatic languages, with regards to SADC's uninvolvement in the AU and the UN and EU. But I think at its heart, it's a commercial operation that we're seeing here rather than a military counterinsurgency being prepared for and being launched.
Ambassador Ntshinga, I mean, you're a diplomat, of course. I don't think you'll advocate for military solutions. But in your views, with your experience and understanding how you can sometimes unlock situations, or we just have lost the Ambassador Ntshinga. Unfortunately, I wanted to bring him in. But listen, Ambassador Ntshinga, you are back. I'm told technically we're having some connectivity issues. But in your view, I mean, should the government pursue negotiations? I don't know who they'll be talking to, rather than look for a military solution. Because the last 3 years, I mean, we've seen horrific visuals coming out of there, including the killing of this naked woman just a few weeks ago, and the video clip went viral on social media.
I think, as a matter of principle, we always prefer negotiations over any armed conflict. However, I think this one, it's a bit different in that the persons that they are fighting against, they don't have an address, they don't have an identity, nobody knows where to find them, nobody knows how they are organized and so on. So now when there's no identity of a belligerent, it becomes almost impossible even to be contemplating a negotiation. I am of the opinion, actually, that what your previous person, I think you said, is John, it's of interest also to us that not only to South Africa, I think to the entire continent, that whereas we have to deal with these security matters using bullets and guns, we also have to take into consideration issues of development, because in most cases in the continent, hunger has been found to be one of the key drivers in the continent, to be central in any conflict. So that two-pronged approach, I mean, as a continent, we believe that it is quite critical to have that two-pronged approach. Hence, we even have programs like the post-conflict reconstruction development programs for countries that are going through this and see how they can be assisted.
Well, I wonder how you're going to manage this situation where you've got commercial interests which are very strong, represented by foreign companies that are really looking forward to reaping the rewards and benefits, while the local community, historically in that place, feeling marginalized. We have acute poverty in there. The levels of inequality are really, really, really shocking. When we continue shortly, I just want to get your sense, Ambassador Ntshinga and Liesl Louw, as well, and John. We just lost a connection to Professor Nuvunga, Adriano Nuvunga, but we'll try and get him up. But I just want to get a sense for you. I mean, realistically, how could we navigate the future here? Because from where I'm sitting, the stability of the region is at risk. Stay with us.